How can Amazon sellers use MidJourney to create secondary and lifestyle images? Well, Anthony is going to walk through. He's one of our lead coaches here at Seller Systems, and he's going to walk through an example of one of my brands where we used AI and MidJourney to create models of little kids holding toys and then replaced what they were holding in the MidJourney image using Photoshop and Adobe with our actual product. And so this example is exactly how you would prompt MidJourney to create an amazing lifestyle image. And then what you need to do is use a different program like Adobe Suite and go in and put your product in the image. And what used to take dozens of hours, thousands of dollars with a creative team to do a real photo shoot can now be done in less than an hour.
We're going to go through artificial intelligence inside of MidJourney. There's also some artificial intelligence options inside of Photoshop and Illustrator. So question being how to create this image using MidJourney and Photoshop. Basically, you're going to start with creating the prompt. So in this case, to create this image, the prompt would be photograph pretty model, white girl, 6 years old, holding by a string, very small Christmas ornament, blah, 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 right? So you're basically mapping out this prompt here. And then it's going to give you some different variations. I think most people understand this already inside of MidJourney. If you want to create additional variations, you say like, okay, this one is the one that we like the most. You want to get her holding the ornament, then you can click on this V2 and it's going to make you variations along this similar thread. Like, we don't like this, we don't like the girl, we don't like the position, whatever it might be. We like this one, so now it's going to make us 4 variations of that, right? So you click on the variation and then what variation that you want. Now, there's a few different options once you're inside of MidJourney. I think most people are already familiar with this. I know I use this all the time. But just to recap for anyone, like upscale is going to be increasing the size 2 to 4x. Vary, you have subtle and strong, is going to modify the image in either small or large details. If you want to vary a specific region, you can modify, add, or remove specific areas that you want. Zoom out, you can either do 2x or 1.5x, is basically going to create additional content around. So like if I wanted to see the broader scenario or situation around this girl, you use the zoom out. Custom zoom out, and you can describe what you want to generate around it. It's kind of like a generative fill. And then the pan buttons, you can see these are down on the bottom, the left, right, top, down is going to basically be like, which direction do you want to expand or fill? So if you want to do I think we're going to go through these one by one. So vary region. Right, I think in this case we're just like trying to vary the region around and empty out what's here in the hands, right? So we have this Christmas ornament, you're selecting what you want, you're selecting these other areas, and then it's taking that out. And I think in the prompt here, remove from the selected area, right? Pretty amazing that you can do all this inside of a web browser. This is in Adobe, inside Photoshop, to change the background. So you're just doing the box around, generative fill, and then you're just add, remove, selected area. This is to insert the products. You're putting the hands on top. You have the ambient colors, the show of shadows, like it's doing all of this for you, which is pretty incredible. And this is the final result. Not perfect, but think about where we came from the first image, which was basically this one here was our winner with the product that wasn't our own. This kind of strange, weird background, and now we've removed the background, we put our own product in there, and we're getting something that actually looks pretty reasonable.
Hey, if you're enjoying this content, you're going to love the masterclasses that we host on a regular basis. We've got over 1,000 members in our private community, and over 400 of them are already doing over $1 million. We regularly host masterclasses with hundreds of students, and you can find out more below. Join us.
So this is another example. 2 children play fishing in an outdoor swimming pool, right? So they've got like these fake fishing rods. You know, they've got like these things that are floating on the water surface. And so we're getting these variations. I think the one that we choose is the variation 2 here. And so now this is an example of varying the region. So I think we've got these extra, see how it's got like these little strings of water that are like kind of splurting and shooting out. So now we're just like highlighting that area and we're removing, and now we've just got really clean. They're just holding these little fish. So these are just some attributes, like they have really realistic eyes, colored swimsuits. The more detail that you can add, it's going to be better. Modern pool, remove the fishes in the pool. You can see this is like the additional descriptors that are being added on. So here we're switching him now to having short black hair. Here the eyes are getting much more realistic versus these are a little bit like open. Here we have a colored swimsuit, now they're getting really bright. Here it's removing the objects from the hands, right? Objects are gone. Here, changing the background, now we have a different background here, right? Instead of this really lush tropical, it's a little more minimal. Here we have a modern pool. Now we're changing it, or before we had like, I think a traditional pool, it's got this brick. Now we're switching it to more of a modern design. And here we've got the fishes, now we can remove that. Again, if you're expecting AI to come in and just like rock your socks and have amazing creative and give you all this experience that designers have overnight, you're probably going to be disappointed. But if you go in with the expectation that, hey, I'm going to have to work a little bit on this, I'm going to have to kind of communicate with this AI, learn how it works, you're going to get, I think, much better results. Okay, so this is kind of showing, this is a very valuable thing, especially if you're creating, you know, like larger, different scale assets. So you're going to like your A plus premiums. It's like using this pan function. So this is like having an image, and then now we're using the pan function to expand it to the right. It's going to generative fill things on the right hand side, you know, and this is kind of like changing color of the water, very modifiable.